Good morning, everyone. Um, Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. I made a big mistake last week when I scheduled our insight timer, and I scheduled the wrong time. Didn't change it to 7:30. There's a whole bunch of you out there now waiting for this class, but I cannot change the time. So hopefully, if you're on YouTube channel, your Facebook, or on our Patreon, you could tell your friends that they can come to these other platforms. So I apologize for that. But we're going to continue now with our, we're going to start our practice, our Saturday morning practice. And this week, and we are switching to, um, just one second, I keep having a problem. Okay, hang on just one second. Yeah, this is not, hang on one second. Yeah. So probably the other channels are better. The YouTube, Facebook are better than even Patreon. Okay, because I noticed that it's not very smooth. All right. So today we are going to be doing our qigong exercise, Yi Jing Jing exercise. I qualified to say that it's qigong. I would just say that it's a qigong practice that is passed down by Bodhidharma. So it's not just about the body, it's not just about the qi, but it's also about the mind. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with our fingertips. The fingertips are their extremities. So we're we focus on the extremities, the fingers, the toes, the top of the head, the ears, and so forth, because that's where the energy exchange, energy that flows out of the body is what we call the yang, and then when they come back, it's called the yin. So the fingertips are the exchange points. So let's focus on our hands now, focus on the fingertips. We take out our right hand, we use the thumb, and then we just massage the fingertips. And one finger at a time. Okay. One finger at a time. Okay. Now, after we massage the fingertip, we're going to work towards the shoulder, and we're going to work on the joints now. So I want you to massage the joints. So a friend of mine, Mr. Tin Nguyen, who's going to be collaborating with me on the Sunday class, he's a yoga teacher, right? So it's kind of important to understand that yoga, at least the one that is practiced in the West, is really one of the 8 branches of the yogic practice, the yoga practice. All right. So now we massage the joints on the right hand. And it's the branch that's called asana, which is the practice of the body. All right. So now we flip it over and we start from the fingertips again, but this time we massage the corners of our fingertips. And if you study these energy lines, these meridians, these 12 meridians, you will know that a lot of the yang energy lines, with the ones that is on the back of the hand facing the camera, when they start, they usually start at the corner of the fingertips. All right, so now we're going to work on the joints again. I know there are a few of you who are on Patreon. Can someone make a comment to tell me if you're getting this video feed? Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come back to the fingers, and then this time we're going to massage the entire finger, especially those that are in between the joints. Okay, really do it very thoroughly on the fingers. Now, the reason why we focus so much on the fingers, first of all, a lot of us have arthritis, and so arthritis of the fingers is very severe. But arthritis, keep in mind that it's just inflammation, right? Inflammation doesn't start at one place. It's when the body's inflamed, it's everywhere. It's just that it's more severe in one place or the other. So that's one reason. Okay, so now we're going to massage the back again, the entire fingers, especially in between the joints. but it turns out that when you massage the fingers, it just improved the energy flow. And if you have aching somewhere else, when you have inflamed the joints, for example, I mentioned my friend Tian, and he plays pickleball, and very competitive, and he has developed what is called a tennis elbow. And so you wanted to fix that, and so there are ways that fix it locally, and then there are ways that fix it more globally. So even massaging the fingers would improve the energy flow. All right, so now we're going to massage mainly the back side of the hand facing the sun, the yang side. And so we're going to open up these fingers in between, and then we're going to use our thumb and just kind of massage in between the fingers. First the left hand and then the right hand. It's very unfortunate that I made a mistake last week, and once you do that, and I didn't realize it until I start, because it tells me that my starting time is in about an hour and a half, and so whoa. Then when I look, it's yeah, sure enough. When I scheduled, I usually schedule at the end of the class, so the default time is whenever I stop the class, and so I normally have to reset it back to 7:30. Okay, so now we're going to massage in between the knuckles. Okay. I just did that. And then now with the right hand. And it's very unfortunate because today is the day that all the 1920 monks are returning home. They start from they start from Texas. They go all the way to Maryland, and then now they're back. Today they're back. And so I noticed that a lot of students sign up for this class today. I think the awareness of mindfulness is propagating. So it's very unfortunate, and I apologize deeply about making that mistake on the start time. So now we're going to take our fingers and just slide between the bones on the back of the hand. Okay. Now, when you do that, you feel a little bit of numbness. Okay. Now that tells you that your body is inflamed, right? Even slightly. And so there's a very simple saying that when it hurts, it means that the chi is blocked, and when the chi is clear, there's no more pain. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to massage three very important points on the back of the hand. And I talk about the 12 meridians. 6 of them are originated from the fingers all the way to through the body. Another 6 originate from the toes and go the other way. And out of the 6, it's in pairs of yin and yang, 3 inside, 3 outside. So the outside are the one named after the large intestine, the one named after the small intestines, and the one that runs down from the index finger that we call the triple warmer. So there's 3 energy points associated with these that are actually very important as we age. As we age, now we take a finger, we bend back, and then you would find one right here. Okay. Similarly, on the way you bend back, you find right here. Okay. Now you take the little fingers, you come back, and then there's one outside. And similarly, there's one as you bend back, there's one outside. You push down, it's a little bit numb, right? Okay. And then there's one on the back of the hand. So if you just kind of bend back a little bit on the wrist, along the index finger, you push down, there's an indentation here. Okay. Now there's something called, um, uh, some of you might not know, as you age, sometimes the doctor says, oh, that's called sunsetting. Sunsetting. So when the sun comes down, there's a phenomenon that we might not be aware called sunsetting. And we don't, we're just, we're not as, our mind is not as clear after the sun is down. We don't have as much energy. And this is especially acute with people who suffer from dementia, right? So you don't even have to suffer from dementia to have this effect. Just the fact that you're aging, you're not as clear-minded as you were when you were young, and so your body actually goes with the sun. And sunsetting is when the sun is down, and you just don't feel as much energy. You're so so I said, had they scheduled the debate between Biden and Trump during the day in the morning, Biden would have done much better. It's called sunsetting. Now, the Chinese think of that as really related to the sun. So when the sun is out, we're full of yang energy. We're a lot more energetic. Our mind is much more clear. And then when you get towards the evening, there's the change. And so as we age, we constantly want to find ways that will increase our energetic energy, our yang energy. So these 3 points are kind of important. So one is at the thumb, one is at the small finger, and then one is on the top of the wrist with the index finger. So let's try on the other side. Now bend it back along the thumb, you push down, and then the small fingers, you bend it back, you push down on the outside, okay? And then when you bend your wrist, and then along the index finger on top of the wrist, there's another one. Okay. All right. So we've done a pretty good job with our fingers. So we left out the thumb. All right. And I purposely left out the thumb because the thumb is really very important. Right. Try doing anything without the thumb. Right. The thumb is very important. So let's massage the thumb to the left, to the right. And then there's an area of the thumbs. If you think of the thumb as a drumstick, right here is the part that is actually very important for your heart. Okay, so let's use a pincher, get the thumb and the index finger, and then just kind of give it a pinch. And then the same as here. And you might feel a little bit of saltness when you do that, right? Now you take your knuckle and then you just kind of drill in it. There's an energy point here, it's very important. It's part of the lung meridian. Now, same thing on the other side. Okay. All right. So now, so this is the lung, and then so there's 3 energy lines inside. The lung is one. The other one is along the middle fingers, and right in the center, right in the center. So let's give it a nudge, and then over here. Now, there's a reason why we call it our hands a healing hand, because this energy point, out of the 360 some odd energy point, it's the only one that can give our energy. So let's give it a nice big massage, rubbing the 2 together. And then now let's take the right hand, put that on top of the left hand, and we're going to massage both the inside and the back of the hand, as well as in between the fingers. And then now do the other side. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do some Qigong exercise. The first one is very famous. The doctors, the Chinese traditional Chinese medicine doctor think that it can reduce your chance of having a stroke. Now, stroke is definitely inflammation, right? A stroke is inflammation. So you might say, no, that's not true. The doctor says that stroke comes when you have too much cholesterol in your bloodstream. Well, the reason why you have too much cholesterol in your bloodstream is your body is trying to heal itself, right? The cholesterol is actually trying to heal the blood vessel because your blood vessel is inflamed. And so typically the doctor think of the messenger as the culprit. So it's trying to eliminate the messenger. The messenger is the cholesterol. So instead of healing the problem, which is that of inflammation, it tries to kill the messenger. And what happened is that when you take cholesterol medicine, it does reduce what is called LDL, the low density lipoprotein, which is a carrier for cholesterol from the liver onto the stream. So it does reduce that. And so you do have less buildup of cholesterol, even though the problem wasn't the left cholesterol. But then the side effect is that 80% of your brain is cholesterol. So now you're getting even less, right? Supplements, reinforcement into your brain as you age. That's not a good thing. Anyway, so this exercise is very famous for that. And the idea is that there are 5 fingers. They represents the 5 elements. And the 5 elements are the water, the vegetation, the sun, the soil, and the mineral. And it's the harmony between the 5 that gives good health, right? So think about when you plant in your backyard, you got to have water, right? You got to have some vegetation. You got to have the sun. You must have good soil, and in the end, you must have mineral, right? And the same is the planet Earth, right? We keep wanting to find another planet that can support our kind of life form. So you first start with water. And if the planet has water, then you say, well, maybe it has a chance of supporting life form. Then you look for some kind of simple vegetation. Then you look for the atmosphere that allows the sun to come in, not too much, not too little, right? And finally, you need to have soil. And then in the end, the most important is that once you start the cycle, the plant is decomposed into the soil. They become mineral. Mineral adds back to the water. Now you get more life, right? So the Chinese really believe in that. It's harmony. It's a harmony in your body. All the elements has to work together. And so the five fingers represents the five elements, which kind of reflects into your internal organs. Your kidney is the water, and your liver is your vegetation. Your heart is the sun, and your splint is your soil, and then finally your lung is your mineral. They all have to work together. It's not just individual components, right? All right. So now this exercise really believe in that. That is the harmony of the five elements that gives you good health. And once you have that harmony, then the body has no reason to inflame. So let's take our thumb and index finger, put it together, and we're going to squeeze as hard as we can. Then the thumb and the middle finger, and we're going to squeeze as hard as we can. And finally, the, uh, this is the ring finger, squeeze as hard as we can. And then the little finger, squeeze as hard as we can. All right. Now we're going to continue and take the thumb, put that in the middle of the index finger, squeeze, and then in the middle of the middle finger, squeeze, in the middle of the ring finger, and then in the middle of the index finger, squeeze. All right. It's just that simple. Just that simple. It's very well known. In Taiwan, it started by a professor who, after he retired, he had a minor stroke. And so it was using this technique that allows him to do the physical therapy and also to prevent further occurrence of the stroke. Now, the second exercise has more to do with neurological health. And the idea is that the evolution of us, that this particular species, start with the use of the fingers. So the fingers is ties to our brain. That's how our brain get developed, right? We were the first species that knew how to use the thumb and knew how to use the fingers. We broke a branch off the tree and use it as defensive weapon. We walk down from the tree, start looking in the cage. It all started with the fingers, all right? So this next finger exercise works with the brain, not just the brain, but the left brain and the right brain separately. And this is very important. I think you need to understand that dementia, first of all, now the doctors start to understand that dementia is just really inflammation of the brain. It wasn't that the brain is deteriorating, it's just that your brain is inflamed, right? In fact, that's why it's called the type 3 diabetes. It's just another form of diabetes, right? Now, in my experience, dementia doesn't start with loss of memory. Dementia start with loss of balance. The left brain and the right brains are not working independently anymore. That's why there's a change in personality. This is my experience. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to stretch the spine, lift up a shoulder, lean back, open a shoulder, relax the shoulder, relax the upper torso. Now we're going to bring out a right hand, which means that we're using a left brain. We're going to exercise these fingers one at a time. First the thumb, then two fingers, then index, and then the little fingers. Now we're going to bring down our right hand, bring up our left hand, using the right brain. Again, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Now we're going to bring up two hands. We're going to squeeze as hard as we can. Then we're going to leave the right hand behind, open up the fingers in reverse order. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Now we're going to stretch as hard as we can. We're going to say to ourselves, that was the first time. Now we're ready for the second time. We're going to focus on our fingers. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as we can. Open up the right hand, little fingers, thumb, two fingers, thumb. left hand, little fingers, index fingers, two fingers, thumb. Stretch as hard as we can. Say to ourselves, now we're ready for the last time. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, little index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as we can. Now we're going to sit up straight. We're going to open up the right hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. We're going to stretch as hard as we can. We're going to sit up straight. We're going to put our palms together. We're going to push. And then now we're going to lift up our elbow. And then we're going to bring down our hand without leaving the center of the palm. The center of the palm remain touching. So we feel the stress on the wrist. And then we come back. And we're going to do some tapping now. So we started with massage. Now we do tap. But when you tap, I want you to focus on the fingers. Feel the vibration. Count 1 to 30. Get ready? Go. Now we're going to cross our fingers and we're going to tap the inside of the fingers 30 times. Get ready? Go. Now we're going to tap the inside, both the small fingers and then the thumb, right? Now the two meridians are named after the lung and also after the heart. But in this case, it's more like the mind. Okay, so this one is actually very important as we age. That we can't focus as well. Um, and so and then when we sleep the quality goes down. We think that that is natural, right? We That's a lot of things we think is natural. Oh, you age as you get old, that's how it is. Not necessary, not necessary, right? So it's very important that as we age, we continue to maintain the quality of a sleep. So if you have a habit of waking up in the middle of the night, right, and sometimes we wake up in the middle of the night because we have to go to the bathroom and we think that's very natural, right? Or when even if we don't go to the bathroom, sometimes we just can't get to sleep. We just can't. We just, our mind is, we just think that is natural. They don't need to be natural. They don't need to be natural. Aging is not dying. Aging is living. We should just insist that we continue to live, right? So we need to learn why that is and then try to solve the problem. Just don't rely on the Western doctor because all they do is to reduce the symptom. They don't actually go to the cause of the problem. All right. Okay. So now we're going to tap this one. And so this is very simple. They actually, the two are very simple. There's a kind of a drumstick area here. There's another one here. So you put your hands together, sit up straight, and forming a V. Get ready. Go. And then now turn around. The thumb is forming a V. Get ready. Go. Okay. I apologize for Insight Timer and then also the Patreon. The Insight Timer is because I set up the time wrong. And so the students are still waiting out there. And I tried to text them, send on a discussion board. But I think some of you actually move over to YouTube. I noticed that the people on YouTube is more than normal, which is good. At least some of you are catching. All right. And then Patreon is having a problem because, again, it's the video feed. Anyway, so we're done with the inside. So let's look on the outside. So there's one here on the outside, on the edge. It's actually quite important. This is the energy point for the small intestine. So first of all, the small intestine is tied to your mental health, right? So there's a study now that shows that digestive health is very important to prevent Parkinson. The two actually work together. That's why we call the small intestines the second brain. It's really tied to our neurological health. So this energy point is important for that because it's part of the small intestine. But it's also important that in that it's a magic point that ties to your spine, right? And so it increases your energy, your yang energy. So we do this a lot. So when we tap on the lower part of the body, I want to remind you that we use this part to tap. All right, so we're gonna, how do we find this point? It's very simple. You fold your hand, you see the line that comes across right on the edge of the palm. So now I just want you to open your palm like this, roll up your fingers, and then just tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Okay. Now the opposite of that is the large intestines is right here. So let's just take that and put that on top. Get that 30 times. And then I'll go the other way. Okay. So my friend who has tennis elbow, or actually you don't need to play tennis to have tennis elbow. Just any kind of repetitive motion would cause that. And so a lot of you have problem with fingers because you spend a lot of time on the computer, and that actually propagates, and we have a carpal tunnel. And then some of you have elbow, and then some of you have frozen shoulder, and it's all together. It's just basically part of the repetitive action motion that we do. And so there's exercise you need to do to relieve those stress, clear the channel. So everything we have done so far is good for carpal tunnel, it's good for elbow, it's good for hose and shoulder. So, but there are three energy points that are tied to the elbow, right? So one is part of the large intestine. This is actually a magical point. It can be used to relieve pain, headache, all kinds of pain, and then also used to reduce high blood pressure. And so I want to do some acupressure now. And so I want you to open up, push down. Yeah, you feel it. But then I want you to use the right thumb. You see this line. I want you to put it together and then push down. But then take the right hand, put that outside the left hand. So as you push with the thumb, not with the fingernail, you're leaning towards the index finger and you feel a little bit of numbness when you do that. Okay. That's one good point to actually remove the inflammation in your elbow. The other one is at the elbow. So when you fold your elbow like this, you push down, there's another one. And this one again is good for high blood pressure as well as relieving the pain on your elbow. Same thing on the other side, push down, put the left hand outside of the right hand, and then goes to the elbow. And then there's one more where when you start at the corner, you measure 3 fingers, you feel the bone, and it's on the outside of the bone. Now, this one not only is good for the elbow, I find that it's good for my back as well. So sometimes when I have a stiff back, I push and move the back a little bit. Same thing on the other side. Now, you might say, hey, I thought you said this energy line is named after the large intestines. Why does it have to do with anything else? Well, so there are two reasons. One is that it is tied to, it just happens to pass through your large intestine, so it does help that. But then also, wherever it passes, right? If you have pain in the back, then there's an energy line that you can use because that happens to pass in the back, right? So that's just how it is. Okay. All right. So now, what really helps with tennis elbow is this, right? Something like this. You can buy any kind of scraping tools on Amazon. But I find that I actually, when I was curious, so I went to Amazon and I typed in Guasha, Guasha. And most of the tools that I see are very, very, very small and very because they're used to scrape the face to reduce wrinkle. That's what people use it for. So it might not be sturdy enough for what we want to do. So you want to get something a little bit more sturdy, like a ruler, um, a shoehorn would work. Um, someone mentioned the cap of a jar would work, right? Anything. Okay, so now, if all you want to do is to reduce your pain on your elbow, all you have then you just work on this side and the middle. All right. So we'll come back to that, but we're going to do a little bit more systematically. Now, I do this a couple of times a day, especially before I go to sleep, relieve some of the pain in my body and increase the flow of energy. And then I sleep very well. Okay. So this becomes part of my habit, part of my daily ritual. All right. So you take something like this, you start in the center of the inner part of your arm, and you start from the elbow all the way out to the wrist, and you come back to the elbow. It's very important that you start at the elbow, you end at the wrist, okay? Because there's 3 energy point here, there's 3 energy point here. So let's try it again. From the elbow to the wrist, and then come back, all right? Now we're gonna move up. And so first of all, you locate the bone. Now on the inside the bone is the large intestine. I'm sorry, it's the lung. Okay, my mind is somewhere else because I know there are a bunch of students waiting for this class to start at somewhere around 9:30. All right, and then now let's scrape the bone. And I really feel sorry, especially today is such an important day. And then now outside the bone, hopefully they come to our YouTube, Facebook, and our Patreon channel. Okay, and then the back of the hand, the fingers, the thumb, the back of the hand again, and then the outside along the small fingers. Okay, now let's rotate our hand as we come back. Again, always start at the elbow and at the wrist. Okay, now we're going to work especially along the small fingers. We're going to do a scraping around 4 inches in this area. And then we're going to continue until we get to the elbow. Okay, now let's do on the other side. Okay, now inside of the bone, on top of the bone, outside of the bone, in the middle, back of the hand, the fingers, the thumb, back to the middle, and then on the outside along the small fingers. And then we rotate the hand as we rotate the hand as we come back. And then along the small fingers. Okay? All right. So this is one of the best exercises you can do. Very simple. And when you go on a trip, you don't have any tools like this, just use your knuckle. Like this. Okay? Like this. All right? All right. Or you carry a small ruler with you when you travel. I carry a small ruler with me. I mean, actually, what I do is I carry a small shoehorn. Right? That works really well because you can hold on to it. All right. So the next exercise is the fingers. Now, even the problem is only with your elbow or only with your fingers, right? You want to do this exercise. What it does is that it sends energy out. That's yang, and then action equal to reaction. Energies come back. So it really does a good job of clearing the channel. So let's start with the shoulder again. Lift up a shoulder, lift up a spine, open a shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Let's focus all 10 fingers towards the camera. Now, bring back the 4 fingers, lock it with your thumb, wind up the 4 fingers. Get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. All right, come back. Open your shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Take your hand. I form what's called the lotus hand. You take your thumb and the middle fingers, and you stretch out the other 3, and you put that in front of your shoulder, and then you open your shoulder. Get ready. Back of the hand facing the camera. 1, come back. 2, come back. 3, come back, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? All right, now this is really good from the fingertips all the way to the shoulder. So especially when you have a frozen shoulder, it's a very good exercise, okay? All right, so now we're going from the shoulder towards the top of the head. We actually work from, we start with the fingers, we end with the toes. We start at the top of the head, we end with the bottom of the feet, right? Entire body. All right, so as we move up, we get to this bottleneck right around the neck. And so this is the kind of massage you want to learn if you have a high blood pressure and your doctor gives you high blood pressure medicine, then over time you're going to develop a lot of pain around here, a lot of discomfort around here. And the reason is that at the very beginning, when you have high blood pressure, very often it's because the brain is crying for help. It's not getting enough oxygen. So your body compensate by increasing the pressure of the blood pressure to pump more blood into your head. But then when you take blood pressure medicine, it actually reduces the pressure again. And so now you're not getting enough oxygen into your brain. And so this is a problem. So let's sit up straight. Let's give it a nice massage by taking the thumb, putting on both sides. And there's an energy point here called the pond of wind. Wind is nerve, okay? Things that you cannot taste, smell, touch, right? And so we're going to give it a nice massage. Now we're going to use the thumb, press down, lean back, maintain that pressure as if you're squeezing a water hose, and then relax. Now take the right hand, put that on the left side, push down with the 4 fingers, and then grab the left side of the neck and just pull it towards the right. Same thing on the other side, press down, and then pull it towards the left. And then now take your ears, open it, take your hand, put it underneath, and then massage. And then on the other side, massage. Okay, now come back and then just kind of massage across. Now, this is actually your vagus nerve. This is your beginning of your vagus nerve. This is part of your rest and digest. So when you have a lot of stress and you want to activate the vagus nerve, you start with this. Same thing on the other side. And then now we need to work on the top. So put your right hand on top and massage, and then bring it down. And then top of the head, massage, and then bring it down. Okay, now come back with the thumb at the corner of the ear, massage, and then work towards this cavity, stop in the middle and massage. Now this energy point here is important to help you sleep well. Okay, now we come back to the neck, these 2 energy points, we're gonna squeeze, middle we squeeze, and then in the back we squeeze. Okay, now we use this meaty part of the thumb and just kind of massage the right side. We use the meaty part of the left hand and massage on that side. All right, and so this is massaging the neck is very important. All right, so now we're going to massage the left side of the neck. So I want you to sit up straight, turn your head to the right, look down slightly, take your right hand, use the edge of the index finger, and just massage. And then I'll look straight ahead and then just massage. And then massage the top, the back, on the edge, and then over here. And then this is massage. Okay, now do the other side. Okay, look straight ahead, turn your head to the right or left, look down slightly, take your left hand, massage, and then massage. Massage the top of your shoulder, massage the back, the side, all the way around. Okay, all right. So a friend of mine is a massage therapist, but it turns out that when you say that you're doing massage, you need to have a license, right? and she didn't have a license, but she does massage anyway because she called what her does um, fascia massage, right? So it's not so she doesn't need to be a massage therapist, but she was making good money massaging fascia. Fascia is short for myofascia. It's the connective tissue of the muscle. It is in fact what we've been calling meridians, right? The Eastern scientists had long discovered that there's an independent communication channel throughout our body that are in between connective tissues. Okay, and so they decided that if they clear that channel, it allows the energy to flow and your body heal itself. So my friend who does fascia massage, that's what she does. She just massage all these energy points. Okay, and she was making good money without having to go to school to get a massage therapist license because it's new. Right? It's not regulated. But then she does a little bit more. She actually used that to also teach meditation. So it's all together. Everything's together. All right. Okay. So now we come to the face. All right. We learn to massage the face. So we come back to the center of the palm first. Now we take the hand. We form a empty hand. We put that in front of our eye. All right. Now, if you open your eye, you see light, then you need to move your hand so that you don't see any light. What we want to see is when we open the eye, we see darkness. Okay, now we come back to the center of the palm, and then we put in front of eye. Okay, open the eye, right? Make sure you don't see any light. And the reason you do that is because the center of the palm generate energy, but the energy is infrared. It's infrared. So you don't want to be looking at light because then the light will overwhelm the eyes. And so when you see darkness, you're absorbing the infrared. One last time. And then now we massage the forehead, massage the face, massage on the two sides of the nose and come back. Then we massage the side of the face. And then we put this energy point on top of the temple and we massage the temple. Then now we come back, we use our fingers and massage in between the eyebrow. We go up and we massage this tip right here. There's another energy point. We come back and push, massage, come back and push, massage. Now we massage the beginning of the eyebrow and on top of the eyebrow. Now we massage our forehead. We'll go over a little bit, understanding that that is the part of the brain responsible for cognitive function. Let's show a little bit of loving and kindness, a little bit of compassion to ourselves. Go down. The back of the head is responsible for memory. The lower part is responsible for our motor function. And we massage the neck. And then now we massage up top of the ear. We come back to the face. Again, on both sides of the nose. And then now we want to massage the fingers. Okay, we grab each of the fingers and we really do a good job on the fingers because we're going to use it to massage our eyes and our ears. Okay. All right. So now we're going to massage our eyes. So there's 3 energy points on top, 3 energy points on the below. We first take the index finger, put back at the beginning of the eyebrow, sit up straight and apply some pressure. We use the neck a little bit to push down and then we push back up. Now we put the fingers in between the eyebrow and we massage the eyebrow as if we're squeezing toothpaste. There's 3 energy points along the eyebrow, plus there are a bunch of oil tubes. And as we age, the oil tubes get stuck, and that's why you have very dry eyes. It's not because you don't have enough tears, it's because you don't have enough oil. All right. So now we take a thumb, put that at the corner of the eye. We go along to the tail. Same thing on the other side. Okay, now we take the index finger, we put that at the corner of the eye, okay? Now don't push on the eyeball, just push the corner of the eye. We sit up straight and we're gonna do some eye yoga. Okay, so first we rotate the eyes up So we're looking at the ceiling. We close our eyes. Then we rotate it to the right. Then we rotate it down. Then to the left. Back up again. Okay. Get ready. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Up, right, down, left. Now back to up again. Now we're going to go counterclockwise. Left, down, right, up. Left, down, right, up. Left, down, right, up. Open your eyes. Okay, very bright, huh? Okay. Now take your fingers and massage from the corner to the corner of the nose, to the corner of the mouth, and then down the chin. Now take the index finger and massage right below the eye bag, outside the nose, in between the nose and the lip, and then massage the neck. All right. Now we're ready for the ears. Now the ears have 160 energy points, and it reflects every single energy points in the body, right? And so the ears it's the Chinese believe that the ears has the shape of the fetus. So when we were inside the mother's womb, we had all the energy points that eventually going to be distributed in the body. It's all here. It's all mirror back here. So it's very important that we learn to massage the ear. So we separate it into three parts, just like the internal organs. There is a diaphragm that separates the upper from the middle, and then there's a belly button that separates the middle from the lower. Except that in the ear, it's upside down, just like the fetus. All right. So when we take the thumb, we put it on top and we're going to massage. No, so the upper part has to do with what the lower part, the kidney. Then the middle. Now we take the index finger, put that inside the thumb on the outside. We come back to the tip, yank a little bit. We do the edge, and then we do the ear loop, right? Yank. Leave the ear loop, leave the thumb behind the ear loop. Take the index finger on the outside, and we massage. Okay, now we're going to massage the back of the ear. So we take a thumb and just go from the top all the way down. And then we take two fingers. First, we massage the top of the ear. Then we come down to the bottom of the ear. Okay, same thing on the other side. Okay, top of the ear along to the bottom of the ear. Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So now we're ready for some tapping. Okay, top of the head all the way to the bottom of the feet. First, we're going to top the head. And to do that, we have to sit properly. So let's stretch your spine, lift up our shoulder, open that shoulder, lean back, and then relax. Now we take our fingers, we point down on top of the head, and we're going to focus on the tip of the fingers, feel the vibration, and we're going to count 30 times. Get ready? Go. Now we're going to take the fingertips, not the fingernails. We're going to massage. 1, all the way down to the neck. 2, and then 3. Now we're going to do the same thing on top of the ear. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Now we're going to continue and we're going to tap at the shoulder as well as in front. So this is part of the gallbladder energy. This is part of the lung energy. So sit up straight, open that shoulder, lean back, relax, turn our head to the right, bring out our right hand, fingers on top, palm in front. Listen with the left ear. Get ready? Wake up. Continue. And then now stretch, lift up, open shoulder, lean back, relax, turn our head to the left. Left hand, put that on the right hand. Listen with the right ear. Get ready. Wake up. Continue. Okay, now we're going to come to the cavity. I mean, the come to a very important cavity. It's longevity cavity, and it's really where the energy line associated with the mind that ends in here, right? And right here is the muscle. This is a very important part of the muscle, and that's why when we do Yi Jing Jing, there's a part where we actually stretch this one, all right? So first, we're going to take our elbow, put that on top of the head, sit up straight. So you're stretching this, right? Now you put that on the upper part of the right ear. You turn your head to the right. You bring up your right hand. You form empty hand. You put that on the left. You listen with the left ear. Get ready. Go. Continue. And now take the right elbow, put that on top of the head, sit up straight, pinch the upper part of the left ear, turn your head to the left, bring out the left hand, empty hand, put that on the right, listen with the right ear, get ready, go. Continue. Okay, and one last cavity is right here, right at the elbow. Remember I talked about three energy line, three energy points. So you lock your elbow, you take your right hand, you wrap it around, so fingers on top, palm on the side. You lift up your hand, palm facing up, turn your head to the right, listen with the left ear. Make sure you use empty hand because we're not hitting it, we're just vibrating it. And we do that with air. Okay, get ready, go. Continue. Okay, now turn the other side. Left hand, right ear, get ready, go. Continue. Okay, and then finally we do a little massage on the belly button. Okay, now it turns out that there's four energy points on the four corners. Well, up, down, left, right. So first start with the belly button, and then we increase the radius so that we're massaging all four energy points, and now we're massaging the intestines. Okay, it's a good exercise to do, right? Another thing that happens as we age is that we have constipation. And we said, oh, that's just how aging is. Not true. Not true. Remember what I said, aging is living, aging is not dying. Okay? The cemetery is full of what? The cemetery is not full of old people. The cemetery is full of dead people. Okay? It's death. Yeah, everybody dies. But aging is not dying, aging is living, right? So don't blame everything on aging. You have to continue to live. So if you have constipation, you're not doing enough exercise, you're not moving around enough, you're not moving the intestines enough. So you learn to do your abdominal breathing using your diaphragm to massage intestine. You learn to eat properly, right? There are things you do to live. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're going to work on the lower part. The lower part of okay, hang on, let me switch camera. So turns out I have to switch camera. Much better. Hang on. Yeah, today is just full of technical challenges. Okay. All right. So we're going to work on the energies associated with the lower part of our body. And first, we're going to work on the inner part of a thigh, which is where the splint energy and the liver energy are. Now, the splint energy is the yin, and the stomach energy is the yang. They're together. All right. So first, we're going to find the inside of our knee, and then we measure 3 fingers, and you push down your thumb. You feel a bit of soreness, right? Okay. Now we're gonna energize that with the edge of a hand. Remember this part right here? Okay. Now get ready. Go. Now we're gonna close our knee, and the yang side of that is what's called the stomach energy. And so you first come to the knee. You find this two dimple. You measure 4 fingers. You find the bone, and it's right on the outside of the bone. If you press it, it's a little bit sore. All right. So we close the knee. We put the edge of our palm using this energy point, and you tap that 30 times. Now this would help with your digestion. Get ready? Go. Okay, now we come back. We measure 4 fingers again. We find the bone on the outside of the bone. Again, we close the knee. Get ready? Go. Okay, now we come back to another pair, which is the liver gallbladder pair. So come to the liver. Now the liver actually start at the toe. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, and the inside. Now we close the knee. Now work on the outside. The outside, we take the knee and the hip, divide it by 3 first, right here. Okay, ready? Go. Second one. Okay, so that's above the knee. Now below the knee, we have 3 energy points. The first one is when you glide your finger up, you can't go any more, right? It's right there. Get ready? Now this actually improves your immunity. Get ready? Go. And then in the middle. And then all the way down to the ankle, measure 4 fingers. Okay, get ready? Go. And then now the back of the leg. This is important. This is called the second heart. Okay, so there's a study that shows that people who have dementia, this part is completely deteriorated. So to maintain your neurological health, turns out requires some walking, either on flat land or along the stairs, but don't run. Okay. Now, so you find this point right below the calf. You push in, it's a bit numb. You put that on the right knee and just kind of press on that. Do the same thing on the other side. Press on that. Okay. Oh, let me lower my microphone so you can hear me. All right. So we're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. And then the other side. Okay. So now we're going to work on our toes. Okay. So I want you to learn how to massage your feet. So first we're going to massage in between the toes. So we separate the toes. We take a thumb, use the edge, and just massage. Now this part is actually very important. This is the beginning of the liver energy line. And then now we massage the second part. And we massage. We keep massaging until we come back. And then we're going to massage in between the toes. 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then there's a very important energy point before these two bones join together. It's right there. Okay, now we're going to flip it over. Bend the thumbs back. You see this little tendon? This is the longevity tendon. So scrape that. Relax. Scrape the bottom of your feet. Scrape the heel. Scrape the ball area. Massage the toes, the meaty part of the toes, one at a time. And then take your fingers and massage in between. Now we're going to scrape the arch. The arch is actually very important. The arch has two energy lines. One is named after the splint, which is the soil element. And then one name after the kidney, which is the water element. And then massage the whole arch. And then find the ankle towards the Achilles heel. There's a cavity with a little bit of pressure. Measure 4 fingers inside the bone. And then scrape the inside. And then come back and we're going to massage right below the ball area. And then we're going to bend the toes back, form empty hand, put that together. We're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. And we're going to use the edge of the thumb, massage in between the thumb and the second toe, in between the second and the third, in between the third and the fourth, in between the fourth and the small toe. Come back, do a little bit of acupressure in between the toes. And then before they join together, very important energy point right here. Now we're going to flip upside down, bend back the toe, see the tendon. We're going to scrape the tendon and then relax, scrape the bottom of the feet, scrape the heel, scrape the ball area. And then we're going to massage the toe, one in every single toe. Massage in between the toes. And then we're going to massage the arch. Very important, very, very important. All the way. And then we're going to massage, do a little bit of acupressure right behind the ankle. 4 fingers above the ankle, right below the bone. Scrape the inside. Then we're going to come back at the bottom of the ball area and going to massage. And then bend back the toes, form empty hand. We're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, all right. So now we're getting ready to go down and do our floor exercise, okay? Let me come back one at a time. I gotta switch camera again. Okay. All right. So we're ready now to do a floor exercise. Today we are doing this very traditional Qigong exercise passed down by Bodhidharma. All right. And before we do that, we're going to massage the back of our knee. And we're going to tap this longevity cavity 30 times. Get ready. Go. Continue. Okay, now we're going to massage this area. This is the bottleneck for all the yang energy that comes up. Okay, and then we're going to form a fist, put that in between. We're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Okay, so now we're ready for Yi Jing Jing. All right, so first we stand firmly on the ground. We rotate the toes inward. We're loosening up a knee. We open the shoulder, relax the shoulder, lean back the forehead, tuck in the chin, point the center of the palm towards the earth, bring it back slightly. And we're going to do the first one called the spirit boosting palm. So we're going to have to focus on the center of the palm. And when I say go, mind, body together, and then push. Get ready. Go. Come back to the breath. It's very important that when you energize, you were in fight or flight, which is very important because your body releases stress hormone, especially cortisol, which is steroid. It reduces inflammation. But then now you need to come back to the parasympathetic, which is called the rest and digest, so that you're not releasing any more stress hormone. But more importantly, you're restoring your sensitivity to the stress hormone. Okay, second time, get ready. Mind, body together. Go. Come back. One breath from the beginning to the end. Second breath from the beginning to the end. One last time. Go. Come back to the breath. Now, it's very important that when you come back to the breath, that you remember that you don't multitask. You single task. Focus only on the breath. It's only when you do that that you feel that the inside your mouth is wet, not dry. Because when you were in fight or flight, it turns off the saliva gland. And when you're back in rest and digest, you need to have the saliva gland turned back on so that you can restore your immunity and your digestion. The second one is called pointing. So you take your thumb, you point towards the hip. And then you lift up your thumb as if you're lifting up 2 buckets of water. And then you relax the fingers without lowering them, maintaining that energy loop. You focus on your breath. And then the second time. And then relax. And then the third time. And then you relax. Now you lower your hand. Focus on your breath. One breath at a time. The next one is called beginner's mind. You take your thumb, you put it across, you roll your fingers, you lift up your thumb, your fist, and you squeeze. as hard as you can. Then you open your fingers, relax, back to the breath. Second time, relax, back to the breath. One last time, lower your hand, completely relax. Now you put your fists together, you take a deep breath, breathe in, and then you relax. Now you bring your elbows together, you focus on your back, and you stretch your back as if you're opening up your back, and then relax. Second time, and then relax. One last time, and then relax. Now the next one is called the fist above the head. Open your shoulder, open your fingers. You're doing a cardio exercise with your heart. So you roll up your fingers, one joint, two joint, lock it, and then you squeeze. And then you let go, let the blood come back. You're putting stress on your heart, okay? Second time, open your shoulder, roll your fist, and squeeze, and then relax. One last time, squeeze, and then relax. Now, next one is called stabbing the shoulder. You open your shoulder, you grab two daggers, you point the dagger onto your shoulder, right? And then you stab. You feel the tightness in your neck. And then you relax, let the blood go back to the top of your head. Second time, stab. Relax. One last time, open your shoulder, stab. And then relax. The next one is called the cross. It's imagine that you have two trees, you're going to push the trees, right? So first you roll your wrist, then you form a fist, you take a deep breath, you hold your breath, and you push. Relax. After two breaths, second time. Relax. One last time. Relax. We continue, called the front hanging. Again, there's a tree in the front, you just have to push it down. Roll your wrists, roll your fist, take a deep breath, and push. Relax. Second time. Relax. One last time. Relax. Now, next one is about muscle. So you notice that this exercise combines all three elements for aging: stretching, cardio, and muscle, okay? Now, what you do is you imagine you have a bar, you grab the bar, you focus on the bar, you follow the bar as you pull yourself up as hard as you can, and then relax. You notice that it's actually stretching this muscle. Second time, and then relax. One last time, and then relax. The next one is called opening the bow and arrow. So you grab a bow on one side, you grab a bow on the other side, and you open the bow, pulling on the string, and then relax. Second time, relax. One last time, relax. Now then we swallow. We take all the saliva and we swallow. All right, the next one is important. The next one is actually for your kidney, your spine, and your neurological health. They're all tied together. So you want to make sure that your toes are pointing inward, you're loosening up your knee, you're activating your second heart, you straighten up your back back of the hand touching. As you lower your hand, you're not standing up, okay? You're still unlocking your knee. Now you're looking straight down, okay? It's important that you dip your head a little bit. Now it's important that your back of the hand is touching. And then you squeeze your fist one time, back of the hand touching, locking your elbow. Squeeze your fist second time. And then squeeze your fist the third time. And then you flip. You follow the center of your palm. You take a deep breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Looking straight ahead. See that big rock in front of you. Go push. And then take a deep breath. Take a deep breath out. All right. So now, as we walk, we pay attention to the bottom of the feet. 1, 2, 3. Now we switch from the bottom of the feet to the center of your palm as you adjust your sitting position. And then you continue to focus on your body as you lower your body. And now you come back to your posture. You separate your body into 7 parts. First are the legs. The legs are the pedestal for the rest of the body. The rest of the body needs to form a bell. You sit like the bell. So you sit on the chair. You make sure that the bottom of your feet is touching the ground. If you sit on the yoga mat, you make sure that you put some pillows and blankets if you have to, so that you're not lifting up your legs. You're not using any muscle. You need to relax your hand and lower your hand. Don't do any hand gesture. And then you come to the third part, which is your spine. You stretch your spine as if you're hanging your spine onto the ceiling. The spine is the clapper in the middle of the bell. It needs to be hanging on the ceiling. Then you lean back and you relax. Then you lean back your forehead, putting the ears on top of your shoulder. And you tuck in your chin slightly so you're looking down. You relax your eyelid. You shut it, you close it, but you don't shut it tight. Then you take the tip of the tongue and you put it behind this energy point right here, which is between your nose and your lip. You're resting your tip of the tongue between where the teeth meets the roof of your mouth. Then you come back to your breath. First, you say to yourself, I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now you focus your mind on the belly button. As you breathe in, you relax your stomach as if you're pointing the belly button forward. When you breathe out, you're bringing in your stomach as if you're bringing in your belly button. If you cannot do it, it's okay. Do it with your mind. Just anchor your mind on the belly button. And when you breathe in, just point the belly button forward. Whether the body follows or not doesn't really matter. What matters is that you anchor your mind on your belly button and you point it forward as you breathe in, and you point it backward as you breathe out. As long as you relax, the body will eventually follow. Which means that when you breathe in, you open your stomach, you're using your diaphragm. As you breathe out, you bring in your stomach, you're pushing up your diaphragm. So the first health benefit is that when you breathe in, you bring in a lot more fresh air. And when you breathe out, you're pushing out all the stale air. That would improve your health. The second part is that using a diaphragm to breathe is the way we used to do it. We started inside a mother's womb. Even though at the time we're not breathing, but we are pumping. We are pumping nutrients from the mom, and we are releasing toxins one breath at a time. So by using the diaphragm, we'll go back to what I said about constipation. You're using the diaphragm to massage your intestines. But there's one more thing. When you breathe in, you open your stomach, you bring in your diaphragm down, you actually enter into fight or flight. Your heart rate actually goes up slightly, which means that you're relieving stress hormone to heal your body of inflammation. And when you breathe out, you're collapsing your stomach, moving the diaphragm up. The body actually enters into rest and digest, lowering your heart rate, restoring sensitivity to your own steroid. So the fact that you have tennis elbow, you go to the doctor, he gives you steroid to reduce inflammation. It's because you have too much steroid. It's not because you don't have enough. It's ironic. It's because you have too much steroid. You're losing sensitivity to your own steroid. In other words, you lose your ability to heal yourself. So it's only when you learn how to re-enter the rest and digest that you could heal yourself. It's only when you maintain the harmony between the yin and the yang that you could heal yourself. So let's spend 5 minutes just learning how to breathe, how to focus our mind on the belly button, and how to point it forward when you breathe in, and how to point it back when you breathe out. One breath at a time. No multitasking, just one breath at a time. Don't try to think of the past. Don't try to think of the future. Just focus on the moment. One breath at a time. Okay. Now we come to the second part of our Qigong practice, something called the microcosmic orbit, that was really refined after Bodhidharma, a yogi teacher, came to China. The second part make use of the static electricity that are generated in our small intestine. The small intestines are piezoelectric, so when you push it, massage it with the diaphragm, it generates static electricity. So if we could provide a voltage potential, we can direct that electricity through our body. And the place that we could create that potential is in fact between our left brain and our right brain. So all I want you to do now is just feel your breath. Feel that you're breathing in. Feel that you're breathing out. Feel that when you breathe in, your stomach opens slightly, something that always happens, but you probably never pay attention. Feel that when you breathe out, your stomach collapses slightly. Now I want you to focus on the lower part of your spine. And when you feel that you're breathing in, I want you to move from the bottom of the spine towards the top of the head. Stretch your spine as you go up. And then when you breathe out, I want you to come from the top of the head through your forehead to the tip of your nose, through your tongue, and come back to the belly button. And as you come down, I want you to lean back and relax. Breathe in. Start at the bottom of your spine, stretch your spine as you move up until you get to the top of the head. Breathe out, come back from the front, lean back, relax until you come back to the belly button. Let's sit for another 3 minutes, one breath at a time. So the Taoists used to be alchemists. So when we say Dan Tian, the field of fire, it's actually alchemy. But when meditation was brought to China by Bodhidharma, what's called outer alchemy becomes inner alchemy. And instead of using chemical, mineral, we use what's inside of us, something we call qi. And this practice, this microcosmic orbit, becomes a foundation for the Taoists for longevity. Not only maintaining the harmony between your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nerve, restoring harmony to your autonomous system, know when to release stress hormone to reduce inflammation, and when not to reduce stress hormone to maintain your own self-healing ability. They also learn to maintain neurological health by passing through qi in between your left brain and your right brain, maintaining the separation between your logical and your emotional half of your brain, allowing you to maintain the balance between the two, allowing you to eliminate inflammation in your neurological system, ultimately preventing any neurological deterioration, including Alzheimer. One breath at a time. So the point is, when you age, you want to live why you age. Aging is not dying. Everybody dies. And the way to live a healthy life is just to make sure that your body does not inflame. It is just that simple. I'm 69. I remember how life was when I was a child. We live according to the sun. When the sun comes home, my father takes his bicycle, he rides to work. He was out there with the elements, no different than our ancestors running away from tigers or running towards food. But when the sun is down, he comes home. We only had one light bulb. So we have our early meal. We do whatever it is that we need to do, and we go to sleep. We don't have anything that distracts us from our sleep. But in the 69 years since I've been around, we don't live according to the sun anymore. And our body inflames. We have all kinds of medicine to eliminate the symptom. But nobody ever talk about how we should just go back to the way we were. Living according to the sun. Maintaining the harmony between the yin and the yang. All right. So again, I apologize. And so I have a bunch of students out there waiting for this class to start for a magical reason. They say, why does it start at 9:23 today and not at 7:30? Well, that's my fault. So with that, I bid you goodbye. Hopefully next week I won't make the same mistake again. And OK，星期一見，多謝大家。